someone come and punch me in the face for the fact that I bought this. Okay, I mean, look at how flawless that has made my skin look. It is just so, so good. I am a huge fan. Hi you guys, welcome back to the Clean Beauty Code. I'm so excited for this video because we're filming something fun, or we already filmed it. It's on my face. We are doing my flawless makeup base routine, and again, it's on my face today, and this is my go-to makeup look. Like, I could be going to a meeting, I could be going out sometimes, maybe make it a little bit smokier if I want it a little bit more smoky, but it's very much, I look put together, I look like I put a lot of effort in, when really it didn't take me a lot of time to create this look, and it's really easy, and you have everything at home most likely that I use, and I love this. I love something that is just simple, easy peasy, looks put together, makes you look and feel beautiful without it being like you feel like you have to do a ton of steps. And this is really this makeup look. If my skin looks beautiful, in my opinion. Leftover makeup on back, man. Like, it looks flawless, it doesn't look overdone, and I really enjoy this look. So I would love to know your thoughts down below. Also, let me know what other looks you want me to film, but also what other videos you want to see, because it's the new year and I would love to hear feedback from you guys on brands you want me to film. I know there's a lot more like top 5 videos you want me to film, and those are coming, and also a full face of like Target and a full face of all of these different stores, so those are also coming. But let me know what else you want to see down below. And yeah, I just want to jump into this video and get started. So if you're excited for this video and more videos like this, then please like and subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into this flawless makeup base routine video. All right, you guys, flawless makeup base, let's get into it. So first, you got to prep your face, and it's really important to have a good routine for prepping your face. So under eye cream, there's a bunch of good ones. I like the one from First Aid Beauty. I also like the avocado one from Kiehl's, depending on how dry my under eyes are, and my under eyes really like to be hydrated. But then there's also the Ella Luz Beauty Oil. I like to kind of put it on my fingers like a drop, like this, like mush it together, and then apply it under my eyes and just really tap that in until it has a little bit of tap to it. So I like to do that. Then I like to moisturize my face, and I like to use a moisturizer that doesn't have a gel base to it. That works best for my skin. So I love the First Aid Beauty, what's it called? The Ultra Repair Collagen Cream. I love that. I repurchased that all last year. It is just so freaking good. Also, so weird that I'm saying last year because it feels like it's still 2022, but it's 2023. Wild. But I love to use that. Then the next step, the most important step, I feel like, for like really truly like making my skin look good for the makeup, is my sunscreen. Now, I think sunscreen is so important, but I like a sunscreen, not only just a sunscreen, but I like a sunscreen that's over a 40 SPF. That just is what I prefer for my skin. And if it's 45 or 50 or something like that, even better. And I really like something that has a shimmer to it. So there's like the Super the Super Goop Glow Screen, which I know is really popular and all of that. That's a great one, but I prefer this one, and this one is from the brand K-Skin. The branding rubbed off, but it's from K-Skin. This is such a good one. I have it on my face right now, and it's truly what's giving my face this like sheen. It's like so nice. Let me just put a little bit on the back of my hand so you can see. So it's a little bit like that, and it just gives the most beautiful, look at that. It just gives the most beautiful glow to the skin, and it isn't like super, it's not glittery or anything like that. It gives like a beautiful sheen. It is gorgeous. So that's kind of how I prep my face. So next I'm going to go on with a primer. Now, I don't always go on with a primer. It kind of depends, but for like a truly long-lasting, flawless makeup base, I love a primer. So I have 2 here. One is the Cover FX. This is their gripping primer. I love this, and this really gives like a glass-like complexion to the skin, even if you don't do, let's say, a shimmery sunscreen, because I know a lot of people don't like to do that. This really does give glass-like skin, kind of like what I have right now. And then also this one from Glow Recipe. This is their Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. Girl, I can't talk today. And this is really good as well. So it kind of depends. I'm going to go on with the Cover FX today, and I'm going to just do a little bit down the middle of my face. I'll put a little bit back my hand so you can see. So just this amount on my face. So I don't like to over apply, and I like to go a little bit at a time. And I'm going to do the middle of my forehead, not the middle of my forehead, my forehead. All right, that's applied and I'm really, really happy with that. So next we're gonna go on to brows. Now, I always think in general, doing brows first is usually the best way to avoid, especially if you're doing clear brow products, the best way to avoid it messing up your foundation or whatever you're putting underneath. But it's also like a really good first step. It kind of helps frame your face, and it makes when you're applying the makeup and everything else, when you're doing it, it just pulls the look together. You know what I mean? Like, it makes it seem more put together. So I'm going to take this one. This is the Ami Collet. This is their new one that they just came out with. This is their clear brow gel, and I'm going to use this and just pull my brows up a bit. I need to go and like do my brows desperately and like pluck them and do all that thing. Do you guys do your brows yourself, or do you go and get them done somewhere? Let me know down below. I really need to do them. So that is that on. I'm gonna wait for that to dry for a second before I fill them in, but I am gonna fill them in because I'm gonna need some help. So we have two brow pencils today. We have the Ami Collet brow pencil, and I have the shade dark brown in this, 1B, and then I have also the Westman Atelier, one I used nonstop last year, like probably my most used on camera brow pencil, in the shade Bark. I think I'm gonna go with the Ami Collet just because I haven't used it that much on camera, and I'm sure people want to see it used, especially now that Ami Collet is being sold at Sephora, which is amazing. You guys know how much I love Ami Collet. So we're gonna take this and we're going to fill in where we need to. Okay, so that is that done. Brows are decent. They're definitely cousins or sisters. They are not twins. They're probably more like cousins because mamas don't match at all, but that's okay. So next we're moving on to complexion, and I'm gonna go with something a little bit more hydrating on my face because my skin has been feeling really, really tight and really just the wind, the Northeast in general, like the wind just sucks the life out of your skin in the winter, and we're really feeling that. Even though the weather's kind of been all over the place, but like when it is windy and you have that crisp winter air, the moisture just leaves your face. It's like, goodbye, see you in frickin' May or something like that. Like, it is wild. So I'm gonna go with something a little bit more hydrating because my skin needs it. So I have the Westman Atelier complexion drops, but then I also have, what is this, the Ilia True Serum foundation, True Skin Serum foundation. This is one you guys know I love, and if you're new here, hi. I love this. It's so good. This is a really good dupe and alternative for the Armani Luminous Silk. So this is really, really good. And I wear the shade Maraca in this and the shade X in this. I think I'm going to do a little mixy-poo of both because why not? So I'm doing a little pump of the True Serum, and then I'm doing a little bit of the Westman Atelier, couple drops, nothing too crazy. We're gonna apply it to my face. I have a beauty sponge, and I'm gonna actually use a beauty sponge a ton today, and we're gonna just blend it in. Right, so we are all blended out. I'm happy with that and how that's looking. My skin is looking really hydrated. It's looking a little bit shiny, but not in a bad way because skin gets dry over time, but we're also gonna powder a little bit as it goes on. So what I am gonna do is I'm gonna do actually a little bit, just a touch of concealer right now, of a, like a very good match to my complexion concealer right now. And then I'm gonna go on with something a little bit lighter later after I do the rest of my makeup. But we're gonna do a touch of the Rose Inc concealer in the shade LX100. This is a new one, thank God. I ran out of my last one. Next, we're moving on to bronzer, and I'm going to grab this one here from Rose Inc. And this is in the shade Seychelles, and this is a cream bronzer. And I'm just going to dip in to the thing with a little like stippling brush like this, nothing too crazy. And I'm going to swirl my brush in it and apply kind of to my face here and stipple it kind of on where I want it. I want it to be a little bit more pinpointed, so I'm not using my usual brush today because I don't want it to be too much, but I do want it to, you know, kind of do its thing. And this is going to look crazy at first because it isn't fully blended out, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my beauty sponge again and I'm going to blend it out with that because it looks so great blended out with a beauty sponge. I feel like all like complexion products look so good using a beauty sponge. What do you guys think? Okay, I'm happy with how that's looking, feeling bronze, feeling glowy. So next we're gonna go on with a pinpoint concealer because I do have a breakout right here. Um, Thank you, my time of the month. And I'm going to take it just on my finger. You can be a little bit more pinpointy than I am with this. And I'm just gonna apply it. And this is from Merit Beauty, and this is in the shade Buff. And I'm just gonna take it and kind of pinpoint a little bit and just kind of take that redness down because it was really, really red this morning. So good. I really like this. This is also a really good concealer for under the eyes. If you like that, I kind of prefer a liquid, but I do use it under my eyes and it is really, really nice. Okay, next. So I do think I'm going to set this with a little bit of powder bronzer, nothing crazy. Like we're not going to go over the top, but I do want to set it with a little bit of powder bronzer to really get that really nice flawless base. So I'm going to go on with this bronzer here. This is from LYS Beauty and this is in the shade Harmony. This is so nice. And I'm going to just take a little, normally I would do a little bit of a bigger brush, but I do want to pinpoint a little bit more. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to actually take some of it off on the back of my hand and then apply it kind of where I put the bronzer. And just lightly around the face, apply and do that. And I don't want to overdo it at all. It's never the vibe. Okay, next we're gonna move on to blush. So I'm gonna do two blushes. I'm gonna do a cream or liquid and then a powder on top. So let's get into the options. So I have three cream blush options. I have this one from Rowan in the shade Natural Rose. It is beautiful. Let me open it. Oh, there we go. It is so pretty. It is just the most natural looking flush color. I'm obsessed with this. This is like an everyday grab. Then we have this one from Ilia in their multi-stick. I've used this a ton on camera and this is in the shade Ladybird and this is in the same vein but is definitely a deeper color, which is so good. And then I have these two shades from Say Beauty and I love these. These are just so good. You know, these are like it's just so good. And these are two pink shades, so I'm gonna go either with the shade Chili if I do these or the shade Rosy. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to go with this one because I've been grabbing the shade Rosy and Chili a ton this week and I'm kind of feeling like going a little different. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna take this slanted brush from Sephora. There's a bunch of great brushes that you can use for blush. Oh, girl, figure it out. A bunch of good brushes you can use for blush. Girl, I don't get it together. And I'm gonna just dip into this with that. And it's just so pretty. I mean, look at that. It's just gorgeous. Like, what do you guys think of this color? It's just so good. I'm gonna pull it a little bit front, but not too far front. Just pull it like lightly front, but have most of the color focused a little bit further back. So next we're going to go on with a powder blush and I'm going to go on with this one from Bare Minerals, the shade Kiss of Pink. And I'm just going to swirl in with this brush here from Flower Beauty. If you want a good alternative, I really like this brush. I have a bunch of these. If you want a nice alternative, it's not a dupe by any means for this brush in the L'Oreal and Morphe collab. If you want an alternative to this brush, which is the A22, this one serves as a nice alternative. It's not a dupe. It's not quite as flexibly fluffy, but it's really good. I swirled my brush in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually tap it out on the back of my hand because we don't want too much blush. And I'm going to tap where the blush is. Okay, I'm so happy with how that's looking. It's not too blushy. And then what I am going to do is I'm going to take a beauty sponge and I'm going to go around the edges a little bit. Okay, I'm really happy with how that's looking. Makeup sponges are really the key to making your makeup look really, really flawless on camera and in person. Really, really good. So I was checking to see if maybe I needed to cover this up more, but I think we're good and we're going to be moving on to more concealer now. So I'm actually going to take this concealer. This is the shade Mango Drop from Kulfi, which, oh my gosh, I'm like, can you see that this is kind of, look at that. I'm like running low already. I'm obsessed with this stuff, you guys. It's just so good. And I'm going to do a little bit here. I'm actually going to do a touch here, not too much, because because this does a little bit, goes a long way here, but just a little bit. I'm gonna let that sit for about 2 minutes. Then we're gonna come back and we're gonna blend it out together. And I find that letting it sit gives me a little bit more coverage, but also it makes it a little bit more pigmented. And I love that. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back and we're gonna blend her out. And if you feel like when you apply your blush or your bronzer, you feel like it always looks a little bit heavier than you want it to, applying your concealer afterwards is a good trick. It's not one I do very often, but I do like to do a little concealer at first and see how I'm feeling. And then as I apply the rest of my makeup, apply a little bit more. Okay, that's really good. I also took whatever was left on my sponge and applied it to just my lid to kind of tone down the color on my lid, but I don't want it to be too crazy or anything like that. So then next we're gonna move on to powder. So I have a bunch of powder options that I wanna talk about. One is the Ami Collet. I'm obsessed with this. I talk about this all the time. This is the translucent shade. They have one that's more yellow and a little bit darker. So depending on your skin tone and what you prefer, if you want one with color, this doesn't show up on dark skin. It doesn't. I swear it doesn't. It's so good. I've used this on people with really dark skin. I've used this on myself. I've also used this on people with lighter complexion. This is really, really good, and I highly recommend. I love a white powder, to be honest, and brands, honestly, have been stepping it up. Next, we have the Kosas Cloud Set, and this is in the shade Cushiony. This is a good match for me right now, but the shade Pillowy is a better match for me when it's summertime. So the next we have this one. This is from Westman Atelier. Oh my goodness. And this powder is crazy expensive, you guys. Like, it is, someone come and punch me in the face for the fact that I bought this. This is from Westman Atelier, and this is their pressed powder, and this is the white shade. This does not show up on dark skin. Like, I'm actually so impressed with the fact that this is so white, but it doesn't show up on darker complexions, but it also doesn't have flashback. It is really, really good. And this I feel like is more, a lot of people like to use this as like a blotting powder as opposed to like maybe your initial setting powder. I think I'm gonna go on actually with, the Ami Collet today. I'm feeling like my skin needs this one. It is a soft matte. It is really, really nice. And this powder is great because I can take a little bit of powder from the component and then put it on the closed thing. Oh, it's powder everywhere. Do you see that? Looking crazy. And put it on here so I don't apply too much. And I'm going to apply some to the middle of my forehead. I really, really like that. We're not going to do too much everywhere else. I really still like how this is looking. And I am going to do just a touch right here and up here, just a little bit. And then I'm going to take a little bit of a more pinpointed brush, and I'm going to take a little bit, such a small amount, tap it off so it's not too much. And then I'm going to very lightly, just towards the front before my creases. So I don't want it to be where my creases are under my eyes. I'm going to avoid the crease and go like before the crease and then back here where I don't have any creasing. Okay, I mean, look at how flawless that has made my skin look. It is just so, so good. I am a huge fan. Okay, next we're gonna move on to highlighter, and I'm gonna do 2 highlighters, I think. So I have this one here from Rose Inc in the shade Prismatic. It's beautiful. It's a cream highlighter. I'm obsessed with this. So I'm gonna do this one first. I'm gonna apply a little bit. I'm gonna try not be too heavy-handed with it, even though this one melts into the skin and is just flawless and just amazing. It's just so good. Do that, and I'm gonna do a touch on my nose, just right here and at the tip. Just a little bit, because that's how I like to do my nose highlight. How do you guys like to do it? And then I'm going to go on with this one from Minori in the shade Champagne, and I love this one. This is just a more cool tone, and the combo of the two is just everything and more. It's just so good. I'm going to bring it actually a little bit further forward because I like that. And then I'm going to do a little bit on the tip of my nose again. The Minori one is a little bit thinner in consistency, so there's that. But the Rose Inc isn't like thick or anything, but this one's super, super thin. So depending on what you like, you might like the Minori one better, but these are both beautiful and have great longevity. Okay, so next I think I'm actually gonna go on with a little bit of bronzer on my lid. So I'm gonna take this bronzer again, the powder bronzer from LYS Beauty in the shade Harmony, and I'm gonna dip in with a brush and I'm gonna just pull it through my crease. So the next, I actually think I was gonna leave it, but I think I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade, this Minori highlighter, and take a little bit on my finger and put it on the back of my hand first, rub it out, and then I'm gonna just do a little touch, just a touch of that on my lid. But you see how subtle that is? That's kind of what I'm going for. I don't want it to be anything too shiny or too crazy, just a little bit of something. So pretty. I actually really, really like that. It adds a little bit of something. Next, I'm actually going to take a little bit of that bronzer and I'm going to pull it on my lower lash line and just add a little bit of depth. Okay, I'm really happy with how that's looking. It adds a little bit of depth without being too much. And I do think I'm going to actually add a little bit of inner corner highlight, just a touch right here. And I'm really happy with that. I made sure it wasn't like too intense, but it gave a little bit of something. So next I'm actually gonna move on to eyeliner. So I have this eyeliner here. I probably should have sharpened it, from Victoria Beckham Beauty, and this is their brown eyeliner. And I'm just going to, I should probably get something, a mirror real close to my face, and I'm going to do a little bit of a smoked out liner, but like nothing too crazy, just something like right here on the outer edge and just smoke it out. And then I'm going to take a little brush like this and I'm going to just smoke this out slightly. And I'm going to add a little bit of a wing. So I created like a real sketchy line and I'm going to kind of wing it out like that. Do you see? And I'm going to do the other eye next. And this might look insane at first, but I swear it's not going to look too wingy or too anything. Happy with how that's looking. I blended out both sides so they kind of match in color. And I'm going to set with a little bit of powder. You can set with any powder. I'm going to do this one and I'm going to just set the eyeliner. Do you see? Dude, translucent powder is just like it. It's just so good. It's so, like, I'm so happy with how that's looking. Okay, so then next we're gonna move on. I think I actually am gonna tight line under my lash line, but you don't have to do it. Tight lining is somewhat annoying, so I'm gonna do a very light tight line under the eyes right there. It's nothing crazy. I know people can do it and just close, and I don't know how they do that. That's just, it's bananas to me. And that's it, nothing crazy. And what that does is it just makes your lash line look a little bit thicker. I don't over apply this, and my preference is to always do it with a brown liner, not a black liner. I feel like a black liner just, it doesn't vibe with my, it just doesn't look as great. And I feel like I get more, it's more apparent if it like starts running or anything like that. This one, the Victoria Beckham, this one doesn't really run on me. Neither does the Persona, neither does the Kulfi one. So those are all great options. So next I'm going to actually go on with a little bit of this, a little bit of a lash, a little bit of this. This is a lash curler, so a whole lot of this. We're going on with lash curler next, and I love a lash curler moment. It just, you know what, I'm gonna do it the way I do it normally, because looking into that mirror is never the vibe. So I'm gonna look into a mirror, look down. I know a lot of people struggle with this. Look into a mirror and look down, and then you avoid pinching. Okay, so that is that done. These lashes are a lot nicer than these ones. I don't know why. The front kind of is going through a regrow phase, but the rest are fine. You know, sometimes like one of your eyes is just crushing and the other one isn't. So I'm really happy with how that's looking. Before we do anything else, we're going to set our face. So I'm going to set my face with this one. This is the Jason Wu Magic Spell Setting Spray. And it says that it makes you stay matte. For me, at least on my skin, it doesn't really give me a matte finish, but it does make my makeup last really long. So that's what we're gonna do. Ooh, okay, so we are soaked and we're gonna let that dry, and then we're gonna go on with mascara, and we're also gonna go on with lips. So I'm gonna let that dry and we're gonna come back when we're less damp, if you will. Because we're looking a little crazy. Okay, we are all dry. I'm gonna take this sponge now and I'm just gonna kind of press it around the face. And I love doing that. That is just such a good step to take this once your face is dry. I don't necessarily love doing it when it's wet. It really depends on the products you have underneath it, but it just is such a good trick to kind of do this. And then, because a lot of the time setting sprays, even if they're mattifying ones, can leave like a sheen on your face. And when you kind of press them into the skin, they settle in a little bit better, and then you don't have that like initial sheen that you just saw. It kind of just settles into what it was going to look like anyways. So next, now I'm looking at my face before I do anything, and I do want to add a little bit more blush, so we're going to do that now. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to take the powder blush only, and I'm going to, again, not apply too much, so tap it off on the back of my hand, and then I'm going to apply a little bit more powder brush. Love that. Love the added blush. Sometimes you need to add blush a little bit later as like blush fades, but also once you start doing everything else, you're like, oh, I want a little bit more. So we added a little bit more. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the eyes. So we're going to go on with mascara. Now, I grabbed two of these. I have two of these, the Jones Road Beauty Mascara. I think this one's the older one, so we'll go with that one first. And I'm going to apply this one. I really like this mascara. It's so good. Has great hold. Doesn't run on me. It's just so good. And it gives like the volume I want, especially when I'm not, like, if I'm going out at night and I don't want to wear falsies, which I never want to wear falsies unless it's like a wedding or something like that. And even then, like, if I can avoid it, I will, but you know, sometimes you just got to go for it, because photography, sometimes like you really do need falsies. So let's go in with the mascara. I'm just going to look into, I like to look down into a mirror when applying mascara. I love this mascara. It's so good. Just so good. I love this mascara. I do think I need to do the new one because this is kind of dry now. So I might go into that one. I'm going to do a little bit on the bottom lashes, not a lot. And then I think I'm going to actually do a little bit of the new tube because it's going to be a little bit more wet. And I need that because I feel like my lashes need a little bit more. The old one is a little bit dry. It's not terrible, but I do want a little bit more out of my mascara. And sometimes when it's really dry, you don't get as much out of it. Do you notice that? With like any mascara, not this one, but just any mascara. Sometimes you need it to be a little bit more on the wet side, but not super wet where it's like you got to wait weeks for it to dry out. This one's a good consistency because after the first two wears or the first 2 days that I wear it, it's completely the texture I want it to be or the consistency that I want it to be. Whereas like some other mascaras, it takes like a couple weeks and then you're like, why are you so damp? This one's not like that. So next we're gonna move on to the lips. Now, I have a couple of lip products that I wanna use. I was gonna do something a little bit more nude, but I'm thinking with the vibe, I think I'm gonna go pinky today. So that's what we're gonna do. I have 3 lip products here. I have this one, which is so empty. I actually have another one in my purse, but there's still a little bit left in this, so I'm not giving up on her. And then I have this lip liner here from Victoria Beckham Beauty in the shade 04. And then I have this from Freck Beauty in the shade, I've used this on camera before, in the shade Main Character, really, really good. And this is from Rowan, and this is the shade Charlie. This is amazing. I think I'm gonna do the lip liner with the Rowan, because why not? While we're here. I'm going to take a little bit of this and we're going to apply it. And yeah, that's it. That's it for my flawless makeup routine. This is going to wear so beautifully throughout the day. The studio lights, it is hot in here, so this is wearing already so beautifully. I would love to know your thoughts down below. We have a nice sheen. We have a very dewy like look to the face, but it's not too dewy that like by the end of the day, I'm going to look sopping wet because no one wants that. I'm going to be looking really nice and dewy, and it is going to be controlled for most of the day, especially using the products that I use. I am a really, really big fan of this makeup look. I would love to know your steps for your flawless makeup routine. Please let me know down below. And is there something I should be doing or something I should be adding? Let me know down below. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.